You've probably bought at least one pest control product that didn't work. Maybe it was the can of Raid you grabbed at Walmart. Maybe it was the $28 ultrasonic plug-in thing your neighbor recommended. Maybe it was the peppermint oil spray that smelled great and did absolutely nothing to the ants marching across your kitchen counter. And right now, you're probably thinking, okay, that just means I bought the wrong product, and if I find the right one, the problem's solved. That's the wrong assumption. The problem isn't that you picked the wrong brand. The problem is that almost every product in that aisle is made by 3 companies, and most of them contain the same active ingredient at different dilutions with different labels and wildly different prices. I spent an embarrassing number of hours this week reading EPA registration numbers on the back of insecticide bottles, and what I found genuinely made me angry. So let me show you something. Go to your garage right now, grab whatever pest spray you have, and flip it over. Look for the active ingredients section. If you own Ortho Home Defense, you'll see bifenthrin at 0.05%. That's the chemical doing the work. Everything else in that bottle is water and inert carrier. Now here's where it gets interesting. When a licensed exterminator shows up at your house and charges you $250 to spray your perimeter for ants, the odds are extremely high that he's spraying bifenthrin, the same chemical. His version is called Bifen IT, and the bottle says 7.9% bifenthrin, which sounds like it's 158 times stronger than your Ortho. And technically, in the bottle it is. But he doesn't spray it straight. He dilutes it in a pump sprayer at about 1 ounce per gallon, which brings the application strength down to roughly 0.06%. Your Ortho sprays at 0.05%. The difference at the wall is basically a rounding error. I personally think this is the most overlooked part of the entire pest control industry. The chemistry isn't a secret. It's printed right there on the EPA label. The secret is that nobody reads it. And the companies selling you pre-diluted versions at $12 a bottle have zero incentive to tell you that a $40 jug of the concentrated version covers your entire house for 2 years, and the economics only get worse from there. I pulled financial data from Rollins Incorporated, the company that owns Orkin. They did $3.4 billion in revenue in 2024 with operating margins around 19%. Their SEC filings confirm that chemicals and supplies are a small fraction of service costs. Industry-wide, the actual chemical cost of a standard pest treatment is somewhere between $10 and $15. On a $250 bill, that's 4 to 6% going to the stuff that kills the bugs. The rest is the truck, the technician, the insurance, the marketing, and the profit. A huge chunk is profit. Smaller operators routinely clear 40 to 55% operating margins because their overhead is so low. So where does most of your money actually go? Marketing. The phrase "exterminator near me" now costs about $34 per click in Google Ads. That cost has jumped over 200% in 8 years. Every time you call an exterminator, part of your bill is subsidizing their Google advertising budget. That's the business model. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. I break down the products and industries that are quietly overcharging homeowners every single week. Now let me tell you about the pest control aisle itself, because this part is almost funny. You walk into Home Depot and you see Spectracide. You see Hot Shot, you see Black Flag, you see Cutter. 4 brands, 4 different packages, looks like competition. All 4 are owned by Spectrum Brands, a single publicly traded company trading under the ticker SPB. Same parent company, different shelf space. When you switch brands from Hot Shot to Spectracide because the first one didn't work, Spectrum Brands wins both times. Over one shelf, you've got Raid and Off, both owned by SC Johnson. Next to them, Ortho and Tomcat, both owned by Scott's Miracle-Gro. 3 corporations control virtually the entire retail pesticide aisle, and the illusion of choice keeps you buying the same chemistries in different packaging. Meanwhile, the professional market operates on completely different economics. Companies like BASF make Termidor. Syngenta makes Demand CS and Advion gel baits. Control Solutions makes the generic alternatives like Bifen IT and Taurus SC. These products are sold by the case to licensed applicators, and the per-treatment cost is laughably low. A complete DIY professional-grade kit, including Bifen IT, Taurus SC for ants and termites, Advion gel for roaches, and a 2-gallon pump sprayer, Runs about $105 total. That kit covers your home for over 2 years. Compare that to $500 to $700 a year for quarterly exterminator service, and the math stops being subtle. The real gap between pros and consumers isn't the chemicals. It's access to non-repellent chemistries like fipronil. Fipronil is the gold standard ant and termite killer. Brand name is Termidor SC. You cannot buy it as a ready-to-use spray at any retail store, but you can buy the generic version, Taurus SC, online from sites like Domyon for about $40. Same 9.1% fipronil. Sweet. Same EPA registration framework. Roughly half the price of the name brand. One bottle makes 25 gallons of finished spray. I am genuinely baffled that more people don't know about this. And since we're talking about products that don't work, let me tell you about the single greatest scam in the pest control industry. Ultrasonic pest repellers. Those little plug-in boxes that claim to drive away mice and roaches with high-frequency sound. The FTC has been chasing these companies since 1984. That's over 40 years of enforcement actions. In 2001, they sent warning letters to more than 60 manufacturers and retailers in a single sweep. The agency has stated, and I'm paraphrasing their exact findings here, that any response by rodents to ultrasound is temporary at best, and that these devices do not control insects. My favorite part of this entire saga is the Bell & Howell lawsuit. They were selling an ultrasonic pest repeller, got hit with a class action, and tried to get it dismissed. The judge denied their motion after viewing photographs of mice literally sleeping on top of activated repellers. Mice. Napping. On the device that was supposed to scare them away. The case settled for roughly $4 million in consumer refunds against over $50 million in sales. And the company the FTC went after in 2003 for their Ridex electromagnetic pest repeller. That product is still on Amazon right now. A stump still being sold. Over 20 years after the consent order. That alone tells you everything about how the pest control product industry actually works. So here's what to do with all of this. If you're paying an exterminator for general pest control, quarterly ants and spiders, and the occasional roach, you can almost certainly handle it yourself with a $40 bottle of Bifen tea and a cheap pump sprayer from Home Depot. Mix 1 ounce per gallon. Spray your foundation perimeter, door frames, and window sills once every 3 months. That's the same treatment you're paying $250 for. For ants specifically, Taurus SC with fipronil is the move because it's a non-repellent, meaning ants walk through it and carry it back to the colony instead of just avoiding the treated area. And for roaches, Advian gel bait outperforms every spray on the market because roaches eat it, die, and then other roaches eat them. The cascade effect wipes colonies. Skip the ultrasonics. Skip the peppermint oil. Skip the natural sprays unless you enjoy feeding ants an aromatherapy session. Read the active ingredient label on everything you buy and look up the EPA registration number if you want to know exactly what's in it and at what concentration. The $26 billion pest control industry isn't built on secret chemistry. It's built on the assumption that you'll never flip the bottle over and read the back. YouTube thinks you'll like this video, so click it. And if you made it to the end, subscribe.